Alright guys, this is a roll. I have a fin. In class we went over Kimuras from side control, like a dorsal position, and then the legs Kimura, so I'm going to try to use the Kimura as much as possible throughout this roll. See, I got the Kimura locked up here, but Finn's going to do a really good job of driving into me and then just kind of sit me back down on my butt. So here I'm trying to get my hips higher than Finn's, but he does a really good job of coming up on top. And now I'm looking to get that far arm like I always do. Here it's difficult for him to really go anywhere. His options are kind of limited, so I'm going to get this butterfly hook in here and we're just going to kind of roll back over to the side. I'm going to keep control of that arm for as long as possible. Yeah, here I fed that arm through, so now I actually have Finn's left arm grabbed with my right arm, and I'm controlling his right arm. So I have both of his arms pinned with my right. And here, he's in a bad spot. I got both of Finn's arms pinned behind his back. I'm not trying super duper hard here to finish this position. He's doing a good job of defending his neck. He's also doing a good job of fighting the hooks. Here, Finn and I are just kind of hand fighting, trying to get dominant position. He tries to put his back on the mat, but I did a decent job of keeping my chest on his back. Got my body triangle locked up. Here I'm going to pass my leg over top of Finn's head into this armbar position, but I still have my Kimura grip. So when he goes to jump over, that's kind of difficult. But I also have my legs in this 3/4 position, so as soon as they sit up, that triangle is always available. Here I'm kind of just bouncing back and forth between the armbar and the triangle. The positioning of my knees is not ideal. My knee's pretty high if I'm going to try to finish this triangle here. So he's eventually going to pop his head out. Did a good job of defending there. Here again, I'm looking for that far arm, that Dagestani handcuff. Now that I have this Dagestani handcuff, I'm going to hit this car around the speed bump sweep. Really good from that Kesa Katami position. It's one of my favorites. So here again, we're just fighting for hand position. I'm trying to get my hooks in, but he's doing a good job of keeping his knees up close to his elbows and high up to his chest. Eventually get that top hook in. Now we're going to try to shrimp out and get the other one, but he's doing a good job putting his back on the mat. So we come up and take top position here. Trying to avoid the half guard there with my hook, but didn't quite work out. He does a good job of re-guarding. So from here I'm kind of just letting Finn work, see what he's going to do. So I stood up, does a good job of knocking me down, but I keep my knees pinched, and then I keep his foot elevated, so it's going to be hard for them to win that battle for height when their foot's elevated. So you pass over into mount here. I'm trying to get wrist position, try to pin one of his arms to the mat. So right here I have his left arm pinned. Going for like a mounted triangle here, but kind of slips over his head. I do have this underhook here, which is good, but he's going to sit up, and I'm just going to, like I said, spam these Kimuras from any position I can just to see what works, what doesn't. So this is kind of an interesting grip. I have his arm behind his back. So anytime somebody gets a hair in their mouth and they're rolling with me, it's kind of an inside joke, but the hair is not mine. So here Finn just spins out. I'm trying to keep my knees and elbows to my chest, kind of compact. See here again, I'm locking up this Kimura whenever they go to attack a single. So that was a head outside single where I locked up the Kimura. Finn always does a really good job keeping his weight kind of distributed different. But here he's just going to get flipped over. Kind of in this T Kimura position, I do a really good job of keeping Finn's elbow elevated off the mat so I can not allow him to get up to his knees. Again here, I still have this Kimura grip locked up, and we're kind of joking that still Kimura, but this was not part of the curriculum in class today. And here I have both of Finn's arms trapped with my right. Then I lock in that rear naked choke. So that was the end of round one. Here we go again, starting on the feet. I really like standing up with Finn. His wrestling's really good. Whenever I do something that's unintelligent, he always makes me pay for it. So there again, just got a nice little body lock and sat me down. I am going to get his arm trapped here again with that Dagestani handcuff and get my butterfly hook in. And I believe sweep him over right here. When you get that arm trapped behind their back, it's difficult to do much. He even made a comment about it there, and I said, if you get it, you take advantage of it. So again, we're here in mount. He does a good job of bridging, but I cross my feet underneath his back. Again, I'm always trying to get an underhook or pin one of their arms to the mat when I'm in mount. Here, again, we're playing with this Kimura. Generally, that's not something you're going to finish from mount. But like I said, we're trying to spam this Kimura from everywhere just to see what works and what doesn't. So here I don't have any control over his head, so he can just sit up as much as he wants. Now here from side control is a much more advantageous position to finish the Kimura in. So we've stepped over to control his head. Here we got his arm pinned behind his back. Now we moved our head away towards his hips, and we finished that pool dominant Kimura that we just went over in class. And here I'm telling him, like, I have to walk myself through that Kimura just because it's a new way to do it for myself. So I have to talk myself through it. Finn comes out with a collar tie, got elbow control, and I went for this duck under here. That was close, but he did a really good job of controlling my far wrist as soon as I went for that duck. So he shoots for a single. Whenever I'm trying to defend a single, guys, I'm always trying to keep their head down, trying to insert my whizzer. Ideally, I'm trying to get my leg on the outside. Like right now, it's in between his legs. Ideally, I'd have my shin on the outside of his left leg. So we're going for that Kimura again. Finn does a really good job here of keeping my leg so I could not get across to side control. So I have that Kimura on his left arm locked up, and I switch it off to the right. Again, we're just spamming these Kimuras and seeing what happens. Finn's doing a good job of trying to come up here, but I do have his arm kind of pinned behind his back. He's floating over top of my legs, which is good. In hindsight, I definitely should have inserted some butterfly hooks here, but we'll get to that later. So now the Kimura is kind of deteriorated, and yeah, I've lost it at this point. So Finn's trying to get some underhooks here. She's trying to walk my right arm above my head for an arm triangle. I'm keeping some pressure on that arm to not allow him to do that. So here I got my frames in place. I'm going to go for a little kip so I can get my legs back inside. Finn did a good job right there trying to step over, but I blocked it with my elbow. And here again, we're going to feed his right arm to my right arm. And once that arm is trapped, it's a pain to get that back. So after that sweep, can't pin a top position. We're joking here about he pinning his arm behind his back. Because now we're getting into the clasp material here again. Going for this Kimura. But I am still in half guard here. So I pass over to side control. Working on getting that grip on his hand where I want. Step over the head. Bring my elbow to his elbow. Bring my head away. And then pull up for the Kimura. Get a nice strong finish. Next round starts. Finn catches me being a little lazy here, but luckily I spin out. He's got a nice collar tie. I'm trying to get that elbow control. I have my whizzer. I'm going to try to hit this Uchimata whizzer kick, whatever you want to call it, into the front headlock position. I really like going for front headlock stuff. Just really threatening to pull their hands to the ground or chokes. Here we're going to try to get into a cradle, which is also nice when they step up their legs pretty close. So I'm trying to take Finn's back, and he does a good job coming up on top. So I'm fishing for a Kimura grip here on his left arm, and I'm also trying to put in my left butterfly hook to sweep him over. Now we come up into this back position where I have the Kimura, his head trapped, and we're going to try to lock up this triangle here. So at this point, kind of all the options are available to you. You have the Kimura on both arms and the triangle. Finish with the Kimura there. Here Finn's asking me if I just really sent that Kimura, and I'm telling him no. When your head is trapped, you don't have the ability to move your arm, just like we went over in class earlier. You can raise your head and you can move your arm further, but when you don't have that same ability, it just takes a little bit of slow, controlled movement. And here, right after that round, we're talking about a similar position, but different. Another one where your arm's getting pinned down across your body in like an Americana position. I'm telling him that whenever my arm gets pinned like that, I just always turn, just because it's easier on your shoulders that way. I just tuck my elbow to my side and turn. So again, trying to get that elbow control. Does a nice little duck under. Got my front headlock position, then we're switching off to double unders. From there, I really feel like it's similar to the front head where you can just drop your weight and pull them down to the mat. And at this point, I have my underhooks pretty deep, so it's kind of hard to get out at this point. Gonna go for a little roll. Again, we're just fighting for these Kimura positions whenever possible. So again, I'm trying to hit a Kimura, or look for the Kimura grip on this arm rather. I'm not exactly sure how this one's going to pan out. This isn't a position I get in too frequently. So exactly, it kind of deteriorates, and Finn does a good job of passing. Good job of getting his right hook in. Now we're kind of hand fighting here. And that's a good job of locking up the body triangle by Finn. So whenever somebody has my back, I'm trying to first hand fight, and then I'm trying to head fight. So I'm trying to get dominant hand position, and then I'm trying to win the battle for head position by getting my head to the mat like I did right there. Finn's doing a good job. He has his underhook, and he's threatening some chokes right here, so I'm having to actively defend while I'm escaping that position. From here, we have his arm trapped again, and we're going for that same carve around the speed bump sweep.
How did I let that of all moves keep happening?
Like I said, it's one of my favorites.
I know, it's so easy to not.
I try to really keep that arm for as long as possible. Sometimes they can lay some weight on it and it can cause issues, and I'll release it. But when I can keep it, I try to keep it as long as possible. So do a little kind of chair sit, back take here. Hand fighting, looking for dominant grips. He does a good job of just coming up on top. So here he's trying to stand up, but I'm doing a good job of pulling my knees to my chest and just making it difficult for him. Just trying to make him bear some of my weight. So he does get up to his feet, but I'm still pulling my knees to my chest pretty heavy. And he's a little off balance here, so we sleep him over top. So usually from this mount position, I'm trying to get a cross-face and an underhook. But here, I'm just trying to get my underhook so I can set up my Kimuras. So he's going to bridge as I go to dismount and do a pretty good job of getting that butterfly hook in there to flip him back over. Now I can go to dismount. So here, as soon as I pulled that arm up onto him, I actually told Finn, I was like, you know what's happening, because we just went over this in class. So I've stepped over the head, I've isolated the arm, and now I'm trying to get his arm behind his back and kind of fix my grips. Also trying to bring his elbow up to the shoulder line. So I've got behind his back, bringing my head towards his hips, pulling up with my elbow to get the finish. That was a really fun round with Finn. Like I said, we really tried to use that Kimura as much as possible. I believe that was 4 Kimura submissions, but again, we're trying to just utilize that position as much as possible. I'd like to thank Finn for coming to class and rolling with me, and if you stuck around this long, thank you for watching, and give the video a like. Thank you.